The live was great, but we've had a bit of an up and down week, and to be honest, it started off pretty crappy.
Hi, everybody, and welcome. It's been like over a week since we did our live, and that was really cool.
Hmm.
It was really nice to have so many of you join us and comment and send your questions and stuff. And it was nice to be able to interact instantly with you.
Yeah.
It kind of helps us feel like you're right there with us
Hmm.
and it's sort of part of the family. So that was really cool. I enjoyed that. I think you did too.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's we always appreciate the comments
Mm-hmm.
and interactions that we get on our videos
Yeah.
and Facebook and that sort of thing. But I think the live was just kind of nice because it was as kind of like going out to the pub or whatever.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
it's
Sort of
just
hanging
you out
out.
with a group of people
Yeah.
and able to interact, and it just give us a bit of a more a closer feeling, I think,
Yeah.
and that sort of thing. So yeah, that was really nice.
Thoroughly enjoyed that. And we'll definitely do more of them. We don't want to bore you and do like, 3 or 4 of them a week kind of thing. We're probably going to stick to one a month for now.
Yeah.
I don't know when the next one will be, but we will figure that out. And obviously let you guys know. And hopefully more of you can join us because it was, as we both said, it was really kind of cool to sort of hang out with you and answer your questions right away. Um,
The live was great, but we've had a bit of an up and down week, and to be honest, it started off pretty crappy.
yeah, very
um
much so.
we both kind of got on Monday. We went out to the property to do a bit of work. We were sort of getting the greenhouse set up a little bit more permanent, not
Dug
permanently, but just
dug
more,
in and
yeah,
secured and stuff like
and all
that.
that sort of stuff. And the heat was bad. The bugs were really bad. The bugs were, honestly, they were worse than we've
Yeah.
dealt with in there, and they've already been pretty bad. The black flies are going, but the mosquitoes are were
Horrendous.
insurmountable, frankly, that day. And again, the black flies, the mosquitoes, all that. This isn't a shock to
No.
us. We were already aware of
No.
that. I'm familiar with at least cottage country, Northern Ontario.
Yeah.
And while you know, comfortable cottage going and relaxing isn't the same thing as the off-grid thing. The elements and everything remain the same.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've dealt with the black flies and mosquitoes before. I've never seen anything like this. Um,
They are bad.
they're really
They
bad.
are
And
really bad.
as was pointed out to my mom, to me by my mom, we are the only target within miles
Yeah.
for these bugs. Like there aren't other people around or
And they
anything.
really
So
like my blood. They
yes.
they really like me.
But in any case, that was overwhelming. The heat was overwhelming. The dog was really, really hyperactive that day. It was his first time off leash there, and he gets very excited wherever he is his first time off leash, and he was basically just running in circles around us, jumping on everything we were
Yeah.
doing, and he was almost uncontrollable. And we had to take him out of there not too long after we got in.
And
But
it's hard. And like I know you understand. I mean, like it's like yours 27 or something, and we're dressed with nets over our heads, wearing hoodies like winter hoodies,
yeah,
just to try and protect from bites,
yeah,
while we're trying to dig and stuff like that.
and
So
the we do have the bug sprays and all that,
yeah,
but they only go so far, and when they hit a point, I mean, they're just all over you. So and we kind of hit a breaking point,
yeah,
both of us. And there's more factors than just what was going on there. We were still adjusting to being
yeah,
here. This is a big dream for us.
for sure.
We want a good thing we want good things to come from this,
Yeah,
and we have positive views on our future here and that sort of thing.
Very much so.
But that doesn't mean that some days aren't difficult. And I mentioned the bugs, that sort of thing, but sleeping's not great for either of us. The bed in here is not
The
comfortable.
kitchen sponge.
Yeah, as the kitchen sponge calls it, we are sharing a bed that is a comfortable bed for one person, with two and a dog and sometimes a cat now, and it's cramped.
Yeah.
It gets hot in there. It's and then I've been up through the nights again too, because we still haven't technically passed the
Frost
frost
date.
date here
Yeah.
yet. It's most of the nights are fine, but there's been a couple of nights where the temperature drops too low in here for it to be okay.
Yeah.
We're still, we've got plants growing.
Yeah.
We have pets in here who we don't want to freeze. And
It was -2 the one night. I mean,
we need to run the generator in order to run the heat through the night. So, and you don't want to just be spending a ton of money on a ton of gas for the generator constantly. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of sort of up and down, generators on, generators off, that kind of thing. So sleep patterns are kind of messed up
Yeah.
right now, more than they already were.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just there's been a lot of we've sort of, I think, tried to kind of keep, not just for cameras or for
No.
what we're filming or putting out there on YouTube and that sort of thing, but for ourselves too. We've sort of kind of just tried to keep putting on the brave face and just kind of, you're like, oh, I'm being swarmed by bugs. That's great. It's fine, right? Oh, it's
Smile and
boiling
wave,
hot
please.
and I
Yeah.
feel like passing out. Not
Yeah.
a problem. We'll just keep going. And, you know, it's I think, well, I mean, we had a long talk afterwards, and after leaving the property that day, and there was a lot of, you know, we kind of have to acknowledge the bad that comes with the good too.
For sure.
And it doesn't really do our mental health any good to kind of just pretend like everything's great when it's not. And like I say, we still love this plan.
Absolutely.
We're not daunted by what we're doing. I mean, we're not daunted by the ultimate goal or
No.
anything. I mean, there are
No.
moments where we're daunted by what's going on.
It's some of the challenges that feel daunting, but
yeah,
the overall goal is not.
And we also, we're both kind of people who don't function great in chaotic
Yeah.
situations, in the sense of, if there's a lot of clutter around us,
Yeah.
there is nothing but clutter around us in here, or has been.
Yeah.
Because, as we've said before, our life is in here. It's not just a vacation kind of camping sort of thing. This is all of our stuff, and we've been living with piles and piles of stuff.
I mean, just like a simple example of that is just like you go to make coffee in the morning, right? And then you've got to move. The pots are all stacked on the stove, and so you got to adjust those to get the kettle to the front, and then you got to find a space to put your coffee mug to make your those sort of things. So you're constantly, whenever you want a space, you have to make a space by moving something.
Yeah.
And then 9 times out of 10, there's no space for that, because it's just everything we own is in this camper.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, it's we kind of had to just sort of do one of those step backs and reevaluate where we're at, and also kind of reevaluate our plans on things a bit, not in terms of them changing, but just how we've been addressing them
and the order in which we've been addressing them. I mean, like the prioritizing, like changing the priorities.
Yeah.
I think.
We, for the most part, do kind of keep positive about
Hmm.
what's going on and everything. But I mean, again, the clutter, the lack of sleep, we have had some amazing help from people over the course of this through just single donations like via PayPal or things like that.
Yeah,
We have a few people who have now signed up for our Patreon, which has been
which is
amazing.
amazing, and thank you
Um,
again, guys, for
yes.
that.
I mean, there has been help there, but there's gas is costly.
Yeah.
Uh, we're okay for food. I mean,
Oh yeah.
we're not like I mean, we're not at a point or anything where we're going, oh my god, what are we going to do?
Yeah,
We
we have.
don't have
There's no
anything
food.
here.
No, it's
We do,
not
but
that.
then it's also the how many cans of tomatoes can you break open in a row, right? Like you do want some variety
Yeah.
once in a while, um but when we go to get those minimal food items, that's a well, food is pricey now,
Yeah.
and that is a cost factor. We've stepped away from many of the bills that we've known in
Yeah.
past, but that doesn't mean we're free and clear of all bills. We still have to pay for our phones.
Right.
Um,
Satellite internet now, Starlink.
Now, yeah, and I mean those are things that we kind of we limit
Yeah.
our use, but we can't outright just cut them off, or we
Yeah.
can't do things like this, right?
Absolutely. And things like car insurance and
Yeah, there's
those sort
little
of things.
things, and the gas, like I've
Yeah.
said, and all of these things are costing more now than they used to. Or we're not going to rant into that,
No,
but
no.
this is not the day.
No.
But things are pricey, and so I mean, we, me more than him, many who know me will know this. Can be quite a money comes, money goes. That's how it is, and so I mean, I only put so much stress into those, but I do stress about it. He stresses more.
I do.
He's more realistic and more
I
grounded
don't
than
know
I
about
am
that.
on those things, and so I mean, there's the financial woes. They again they come and go, but
Yeah.
when they come, they're stressful and they're
Yeah.
tough.
And I find I internalize a lot of them, so
Yeah,
I don't vocalize them, and I don't. Um, it's very easy for me to just go. Don't know what to do. I want to sort of back away from them.
yeah. Um, we I've got that sort of hippie-ish thing of like it all falls into place, and it does. It does. Like
Yeah.
we struggle at times, and I'd rather we didn't have to deal with some of those struggles right now, and we could be
For
more
sure.
focused on everything. But I mean, you know, we press forward, and things have worked out so far, and I believe
100%.
they will continue to. Um, but it's a lot, and
It
to
is.
kind of just go all's great. You can only do that for so long.
So long.
But in any case, we came back. We did a lot of talking about well, personal feelings on where we were at and what we were feeling and thinking and that sort of thing. And then we kind of started realizing part of our issue too is just that it's the clutter, but it's
Yeah.
not just the camper clutter, it's the mental
Mental clutter.
clutter. We're just kind of floating through a
Yeah.
lot of things. A lot of it, like we've said, weather's affected what we can do in a day. So when you've got something planned out and the skies open up and it starts raining like crazy, that changes everything for you.
Yeah.
So your plans get delayed. But and I as far as our videos that we post
Hmm.
go, it seems a lot more organized, and like there's just we're following a plan and we've got this done today and
Yeah.
we just clear through and we keep moving through, but that's not exactly how it's been working in real life. There has been a lot of, well, we'll just do a bit of this here today, and then I guess tomorrow we'll do a bit of this here, and maybe we can do kind of sort of
Yeah.
this on the day. And we kind of realize that clutter of not really having things laid out
Yeah.
um,
Not
is
like a
difficult.
day. Not. I mean, like not saying like an hourly or daily goal. per
Yeah.
se, but having like short-term goals instead
Hmm.
of like just going, the long-term goal is this, we want to be here, right? Is going, this week we want to achieve this,
Yeah.
or today we want to achieve this, so that there's more structure to those
Hmm.
goals. I think the reality is that it's very easy to get overwhelmed by the big picture,
Hmm.
and go, this is enormous, instead of going, well, I want to achieve this,
Hmm.
and give yourself enough time to do that.
Yeah.
And if you don't meet that deadline, okay, well, deadline shifted by a day, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Forgive yourself for that.
Yeah.
One of the other things that there's a big factor in that, of course, is that, being where we are from where we're working is a big thing, because we haven't until now really been able to take proper breaks. And we've sort of
Yeah.
touched on this in another video. But when we're done working, let's just say we're working on the property and we've now done 2 hours and now we want to sit down, there's no chairs. So,
Or we haven't had them
oh,
out
we
there.
haven't had them out there.
We
Now have chairs
we've
that
got some
go.
chairs that turned up this weekend
Yes.
from the friends who we were staying
Staying
with
with.
who stopped by, which was
It was
really
very
really
kind of
nice.
them. It was great to see them too. But yes, so so we can't just sit down there.
Yeah.
We then have to traipse back to the truck, and once we're in the truck, we then drive back to the camper, and then come and take a proper break. And by the time you've done that, you're like, I don't want to have to drive back and then walk back and then start working
Yeah.
again. I'm done.
Yeah.
So
And too, I mean, when we do break there, like you said, there haven't been chairs, so it's been kind of he collapses in the wheelbarrow, and I
yes,
lean against a tree or find like a bush that is reasonable enough to sit
sit on.
on. And I mean, you don't rest, you don't. And there's the thing too of like it's all well and good. We bring in water with us. We bring
Mm,
in
snacks and
snacks like Nutri-Grain bars, that sort of thing. But I mean, you know, you're in the middle of the heat, the bugs are still swarming you, you're not getting away from that. I mean, you're not, the water only goes so far. You kind of hit a, I need a bit of a caffeine or sugar boost or something like that.
yeah,
Like it just, yeah, it's been a lot. And anyway, we, as far as the plans
yeah,
that we were doing going, and we sort of realizing that we were scattered, and a lot of it too is we've sort of overwhelmed ourselves inadvertently because we kind of, we haven't done sort of the short term goals.
yeah,
It's been, we just need to do all of this by winter.
yeah,
And it's like, well, okay, when you start going, okay, well, I need to have a garden and a cabin built and a greenhouse set up and an outhouse set up, and we've got to move the camper in there, and we do that. And when you just say it all has to get done, it feels, you've sort of made it a, it all has to happen now,
yeah,
and there's no time to focus on the one and finish this project and then move on to the next. You kind of are telling yourself we just have to do it all at one time, and
yeah,
that's not possible.
yeah.
And yet
No,
you're
it's just
trying to
physically
make
not
the
possible.
impossible possible.
Yeah,
And so we had to kind of step back and go, okay, we have to lay this out properly. We have to look at the calendar. We have to look at dates. We
mm,
have to say, we have to stop feeling guilty for not doing all projects at one time,
yeah,
and just kind of go, today is the day we focus on this, and when we start it, it starts this day. Ideally we finish it on this date, and until then there's no in between.
yeah,
We don't worry about, you know, let's say for example it's clearing.
yeah,
We say we want to be on the map, cleared from this spot to this spot. um that's all we focus on.
yeah,
Then it's not, and we don't worry about the other things because we know we have dates planned out now where we say the greenhouse is the goal here, and that is all we're focused on.
yeah,
We're not going to worry about the other things. We're just going to one step at a time,
yeah.
and that's it. We've kind of hit this point where, or we did hit this point where we weren't doing one step at a time. We were
No,
trying to do all steps
all the steps.
all the time.
Yeah,
And yeah, as said, by Monday, it just kind of came crashing down for us.
Yeah.
Like we just, it was overwhelming. It felt insurmountable. Um, and yeah, we did have to kind of do a step back, which we have. So,
Yeah.
um,
And that was, it was really good because, you know, it helped us, and, you know, I understand we communicate really well. So we've always been able to do that.
yeah, we are good at
So it was good to be able
that.
to talk things out, and, you know, just the little things that were bugging us or stressing us, and help us come up with, you know, a more accurate plan. So I know someone in the comments had asked, what are your goals for the summer? We're not going to talk about those in this video, but we will be talking about them.
Yeah, oh, we definitely will.
We will go into some more detail for all of you, about what the plan is,
Hmm.
and plans are. But, you know, we want to encourage people to know that, you know, this is not all, how did I put it, rainbows and unicorns.
Yes,
It's, you know,
sunshine and roses.
sunshine and roses. It's, there are days where it's really hard, and
Yeah,
it is very hard to motivate and things like that. And so, I'm glad that we took the time. Sorry, Remy's just woken up from a little nap. Um, yeah, we took the time to sit and plan out our stuff, and to, you know, go, okay, what can we work on? What are the goals that we need to achieve, and how soon do we need to achieve them? What rough deadlines, or hard deadlines are there
hmm,
that we have to concern ourselves with, and so on and so forth. And I think that's helped us a great deal.
yeah, and we sort of we also did kind of a real sort of realistic look at things. Like we went back, we looked at the clearing we've done
Hmm.
so far. We went back to the first date
Yeah.
that we did that. We sort of vaguely counted the hours that we spent there. Went to the date that we last did clearing, and sort of said, okay, well, so how long did it take us to get from point A to point B? Then moved that to, okay, so then we know that it will take us about this long to get to this point, this long to get to this point, and it was a
Yeah.
lot easier to sort of, I think, see where we were. And actually, I personally, I think you were still a little bit skeptical, but I felt a lot better once we had made those plans,
Hmm.
because the time wasn't as big as I thought it was
Yeah.
going to be. There was, and I mean, we're obviously aware there's going to be hiccups. There's going to be things that
Yeah.
change our plans, but it was like I was thinking we're going to be clearing this until December,
Yeah.
and it was like, no, it's actually more like a week and a half.
Yeah.
It's going to take us to get through to the point we want to. Looking at the cabin build, that sort of thing, was sort of going, okay, we've got, it'll probably take us about a month in total to kind of get the thing, the structure and everything ready. But it was sort of going, okay, when all was said and done, there was a lot of flexible time
Yeah.
in there. There's not going to be,
No.
realistically, we all know there's not going to be a lot of flexible time, but that's kind of the thing, is that there's flexible time for those hiccups and delays and whatever else.
Yeah.
So, I think we'll be kind of in our way down to the wire in certain areas, but not in a we're screwed kind of way.
Yeah.
It just in a, it's not going to be, we're not going to be done by the end of July or
No.
whatever. It's
No.
going to be an August September kind of thing.
For sure.
But
And at the same time, you know, like, while we're working on those sort of, like, the sort of longer term goals, there are shorter ones that have to happen within those time periods. Things like, you know, clearing a spot to plant seedlings. We've
mhm,
got a ton of seedlings that are now at the point where they need to go into the ground soon,
yeah,
after the frost date, because we want to be completely safe from that.
yeah,
But, you know, we know that those things have to happen as well. So they're in there, and they're now accounted for,
yeah,
as opposed to, like, you know, we're just doing this one task repetitively over and over and over and over again. And while we're making progress, it doesn't feel like we're making progress, because it's just such a big task.
yeah.
So yeah, it's a
It
lot
was good.
different,
And
and
then
it
we
was a good thing.
also we took some time as well to, because we're a bit more in a position to now. It was different when, when we were staying in Cochrane with the friends there. You don't want to just unload a junk pile all over their
Yeah,
front lawn, right? So we were kind of keeping a lot in here. Well, and also keeping stuff in here to protect it from the snow and everything. But we're not dealing with that now. So we took a pretty good chunk of time on Tuesday before sitting down to actually list things out, and did a pretty significant tidy, organizing,
and
cleaning
clear
up in
up and
here,
stuff. Yeah,
and get stuff out of here that we know doesn't need to be in here at this point, and that sort of thing. And that really, I think, that certainly
helps.
helped me
Yeah,
to
it
to
does.
to start
It's
getting things more organized mentally as well
and
as
there'll be
on
more. I
paper.
mean, the hard thing now is that a lot of the stuff that we've cleared out of here, we have to get onto the property.
Yeah,
We have to get that's sort of like one of the first tasks, is to do that
yeah.
because um, you know realistically we may have to move the camper, and if we do so,
Well, we have to eventually
we will
anyway.
have to
Like, it's
anyway,
gonna have to
no
go
matter
in
when.
there. So
We don't want to have to pack all that stuff back in here and then be sort of back to square one in trying to deal with all of this stuff.
yeah,
So, so that was a big step. I mean,
yeah,
and it really did. It has helped so much in here.
yeah.
Um, it's still a tight space.
It's
Um,
always going to
it's
be.
always
That's the
going to
nature
be.
of it.
But and until we actually have storage sheds and cabins and all that kind of stuff where everything can be out of here,
Hmm.
this is always going to be a bit of a crowded space, and that's okay.
Yeah,
But it feels better and it feels more open, and
it
it's
does. And we sort of got space. We can see out the windows in the back
yes,
nicely now, and yeah, it just, we can breathe again a little
yeah,
bit
for
in
sure,
here.
for
So
sure. So, but yeah, so guys, that's why we haven't. There's no footage ready this week. Um,
no, we will come back. We did get our shower unit set up though,
Yes,
which
we
was kind
did,
of cool.
and we are going to come back to that in another video.
Yeah, we are.
We'll talk about our showers and water because someone was asking about what we're doing for water right now.
Yes, my aunt.
So we will answer that question in a future video. Probably the next one.
Yeah,
We'll try and get that done. But yeah, guys, again, we cannot say enough thank yous to those of you that have supported
yeah.
so far
In all ways,
in all
in
ways.
the
And
finances, the comments, the
yeah,
personal messages, the everything. It really does. Some days it just keeps us going.
it
It
really
really
does.
does.
And some days when you're feeling a bit low, it really is nice to have,
Yeah,
open up and get a message from someone that's very encouraging,
yeah,
and that. So we really do appreciate that. And if you are in a position where you want to help and you are able to, please, feel free to use our PayPal. If you're in Canada, you can use Interact e-transfer, as well as one of the best ways to support is via Patreon,
yeah,
because that way we can give you back a little bit that we otherwise can't right now. And so there's 4 different tiers on Patreon, so please check that out. There's also a free tier where there's some content, but you get more content as that progresses,
hmm,
as you go higher up in those tiers. But that really does significantly help us
yeah,
from a month to month and day to day expenses point of view. And so please check out that Patreon link as well. And remember that you can also, if you're so inclined, feel free to check out our Amazon wish list. That link is also down below.
hmm.
And there's some pretty cool stuff and a wide variety of stuff from dirt cheap to larger ticket items, which we're not expecting. They're really there as well
Just to
to
remind
remind
us that
us
we need
that
to
we
get
need
them
them
down the road.
down the road. But there are smaller items that could help or just bring a smile to our face. One thing I will say on that though, please, is if you are sending us something, please let us know somehow, either on Facebook or Instagram messaging or whatever it takes. Purely because we don't get notified. We looked at that, and
Yeah,
Amazon does not notify us at all. Neither do any of the larger delivery companies, Pure
yeah,
Later, anything like that. We do not get notifications. So you have to say, "Hey, I've sent you something. Check it out. You know, go and check your mail or whatever it is," because they come. There are different places and things like
yeah.
that too. So, but thank you again so much, everyone, for watching, for putting up with us and
Yes.
listening to us, and for your continued support, which really does mean the absolute world to us. We couldn't be doing what we're doing without your support in every little way. So thanks again for watching, guys, and until the next video.